Hello world, I'm the Queen of Squiggles and I'm making a 3D game framework for horror games. The game you see is called The Move-In Friend, and it's going to be a tech demo that draws inspiration from the game Unpacking. This is the development log for my 0.2 update of the framework, and I have some fun stuff to talk about. This completed epic was titled Menus and Accessibility. This is mainly because I wanted to improve the menu UI frame elements, as well as providing some accessibility features early in development. For the menus, I wanted to make a central UI theme asset that can be used on all of the menus, so I got to play around with the new Godot Theme Designer tool and made some good-looking UI elements using Kenny's CC0 user interface assets. I tried to give them an HD look as best I could. I don't imagine that a pixel style will fit my games I make, so I wanted to ensure this will look good with as many games as possible, with minimal tweaking needed. Ultimately, I will be tweaking the theme to fit each individual game, but this will be a good base for alpha versions. Accessibility is important to me because the lack of features can mean that people are unable to play my game. If I didn't want people to play my games, I wouldn't be publishing them, or letting people play them for free. I want to add some of these features early into the development cycle to make sure the features are able to be iterated on for a few cycles before the final release. The main focuses I had for this epic were color blindness and deficiencies, motor impairments, and deafness. The absolute easiest way to make a game accessible for people with any form of color blindness is to use a high contrast style. Because of this, my UI colors are grayscale and use a large contrast difference to differentiate between which button is currently selected. An additional tweak I added is a shader to the reticle that inverts the colors from the screen texture. This means that the reticle should have a high contrast against the background at any given point on the scene. To help with motor impairments, I made sure that the menus are completely accessible through a gamepad. I still need to get the player to work with a gamepad, but that will come in a future epic. A design level feature is that I am not making any features that rely on the player holding down a button for too long, or repeatedly pressing the same button. Since this game is fairly relaxed, the ability to pause doesn't have a big effect on the game, but it's still there to ensure the feature is available in any games made with this codebase. My features for people with hearing loss were actually pretty easy to add. Another one of my projects I'm working on is called Godot Dynamic Subtitles, which is an add-on for Godot that I am making to implement subtitles in a very easy way. My primary focus for the add-on was to provide spatial information to the player without audio cues. I thought of Five Nights at Freddy's, where certain animatronics would play audio in the left or right channel,
I saw you.
and that information was essential to play in the game.
That was a thing.
If the player wasn't hearing some quality headphones, they might not hear anything until it's too late. Or even worse, they would hear it but wouldn't be able to tell the direction of it because of their setup. At the design level, I plan to ensure that any crucial information that is provided with an audio cue is also given a visual cue, and possibly a toggleable controller rumble. My add-on has its own development logs, and I'll include a link in the description so you can download it for your projects. I have a separate Kanban board for that project so I can manage the project separately from this one. And I have some improvements planned for the add-on as well, such as a clearer default font and automatic dialogue line splitting. My next epic I'm planning is for animations. I want to be able to import animations and models from Mixamo to make the player character and NPCs more interesting to interact with. Unfortunately, there's a whole process for doing this that isn't very intuitive to me, so I have to learn it and get a system that looks good. I'm also planning a small patch that would add to the settings menu to make it more intuitive and responsive. But I'll likely include updates for that with the animations epic. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. This channel is slowly evolving as I devote more time to it. I want to keep making better games and better videos, so any feedback you can provide is very helpful. I'm excited to see where this goes in the future. With every update of this project, I'm releasing a playable demo so you can see for yourself how the game plays. I'll have a link for it in the description. If you want to support my development logs, I have a Ko-fi, where you can donate as little as $1. All donations help me to complete my education, as well as work on these projects. Thanks again. Hope to see you soon.